I'd like to call to order a regular meeting of the Wausau Board of Education. Before we go on to agenda item 2, Clerk Peck, I do have a concern to address as it relates to the order of public comment. I'm wondering if the board would object to moving public comment to after the proclamations and before the resolutions.
It's fine.
Fine with me.
Would you like to take a vote on that, or?
No, I think we have consensus.
Consensus is fine.
Okay. So we will move public and student comment. Okay, with that, we can move on to agenda item 2, roll call.
James Boucher. Here. Jeff Lee. Here. Beth Martin.
Here.
Pat McKee.
Here.
Jane Bruce. Here. Lynn Trowell.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam President, I have a point of order to make.
Okay.
Policy number 0166. If an individual board member or committee chairperson disagrees with the board president's decision not to include a particular item of business on the agenda for a particular meeting, the board member may insist that the next regular meeting of the board include an agenda-setting topic where the board as a whole can decide when, if at all, the issue in question will be calendared for substantive discussion or possible action, or referred to a committee or to the administration. The 3 resolutions submitted for approval today, late last week, Thursday and late Friday, and Friday afternoon, I think present a violation of the intent of this policy to allow for the full availability of the information needed for the board to make informed decisions on particular issues and the limitations on the efficient use of board meeting time. Consistent with the intent of this policy, I insist that these resolutions be tabled and that the next regular meeting of the board include an agenda-setting topic where the board as a whole can decide when, or if at all, the issues in question will be calendared for substantive decision or possible action. So that would refer to items 10, 11, and 12 on the agenda.
We were next at the agenda item of number 4. Your opposition is noted, and we're going to move on with agenda item number 4, reading of the mission statement. It is the mission of the Wausau School District to advance student learning, achievement, and success. All right, we have a number of proclamations tonight, starting with the Hmong Heritage Proclamation, and Clerk Lowe will be reading that.
Thank you, President Zunker. I'm going to stand up and read this because my laptop's in the way. Whereas the Hmong are an ethnically and culturally diverse people originally from southern China and throughout Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, and Myanmar, and whereas the Vietnam War, the Central Intelligence Agency, and the United States Armed Forces recruited, organized, trained, and assisted Hmong forces to support the American war effort. And when the United States in the early 1970s, the Hmong faced harsh retribution from the communist Vietnamese and Lao governments for their involvement. And whereas Thousands of Hmong people courageously fought alongside Americans during this secret war, and many were ultimately forced to flee their native lands and resettle in communities throughout the United States, including in Wisconsin. And whereas Hmong Americans have lived and worked in Wisconsin for over 45 years and have greatly contributed to our state's rich history, culture, economy, and public service. And whereas statewide since 2004, Hmong Heritage Month, formerly Hmong History Month, is an opportunity for Wisconsinites to reflect on the many sacrifices that the Hmong people have made to service to our country and to celebrate the vibrant, resilient, and diverse culture of Hmong Wisconsinites as an important part of our state's identity. And whereas we recognize that this year's celebration of Hmong Heritage Month comes at a time of increased racism and violence directed towards the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities throughout the United States and in Wisconsin. And whereas this month, the state of Wisconsin joins all Wisconsinites in denouncing all forms of hate, embracing our diversity, celebrating the many Hmong communities across our state, and reaffirming our commitment to work towards a Wisconsin that is a safe, diverse, welcoming, and inclusive place for all. Now, therefore, I, the state of Wisconsin, and I commend this observance to all our state's residents.
Madam President?
Commendation of Dr. Enos for putting this forward again. I think it is something that we need to continue to talk about when it comes to the history that so many times is missed in our state. So I commend Dr. Evers for moving this forward. The Hmong Heritage.
Okay, so next we have proclamation for School Library Month. Somebody who knows quite a bit about that, Beth Martin, would you please read the proclamation?